How was work today?
Everybody has a problem.
Oh, when will they when will they learn? Oh man, thank you for coming on and doing the bonfire with us. We haven't done the bonfire in a while, so it's really great to have one of our fellow streamers come on board, talk a little bit about their journey coming to being the streamer that they are, having that cute little smile of yours, and just being the person that they are. So man, I appreciate you coming on board,
Of
man.
course. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for
Ab-
inviting me.
Absolutely. Here, let me just turn your little ass up. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm kind of quiet.
Oh, that's okay. You're quiet on the good side. I love your voice, man. It's always so soothing when I come on board and I'm watching the stream and you just get like 4 kills in a row and be like, well, that's the way it goes. Here we are.
Yeah.
All right. So, how was your day? We'll start out with
Good.
that.
Good. What did we do today? We went to work, came home, vacuumed the house like I do every because I got two shed dog. I have to vacuum every day. If I
Oh.
don't, it's just a layer of fur all over my hardwood.
Yo, Panda
Walk
asked.
and you see fly.
Well, if you have 2 dogs, I definitely understand why you have to vacuum all the time, man.
Yeah, 50 plus.
Jesus Christ. What kind of dogs you got there?
They're mutts. I don't know.
Oh, they're mutts. Okay.
They're rescues. They're not. They're definitely not purebreds.
Oh, okay. Well, you rescued them. That's a huge thing.
Cool. Yeah. My wife brought. That was not come home. And it was only supposed to be a Chihuahua Shih Tzu mix, and this dog is now 45, 50 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, dude. Oh, we were told she was like 3 weeks old, and she was like actually 6 to 7 weeks old.
6 to 7 weeks old. Holy fuck.
Or no, scratch that. We were told we were only like 3 weeks old, but she was like, or no, 6 or 7 weeks. So she was almost fully grown, right?
Mhm.
And then 6 months later, I got myself a 40-pound dog just running around my house.
God damn, though. That's. I mean, you must be feeding them right, you know.
Pander, the sunglasses only come out when I'm flying.
Oh, see, there you go. See, now he's unveiled. You know what I mean? It's nothing but him.
I'm not that.
Oh, hold on. Let me do something here. Yes, finally. I've been trying to do this forever. All right, let's get started. Let's have some fun today. What am I calling you today? Innocent Dictator or what else?
You can call me Innocent Dictator. Innocent Dictator, Dick. Sometimes call me Tater. I
Tater?
get it all.
Does anybody call you Tater Tot?
No.
No.
No, I think you're the only one who's ever done.
Okay, we've started something, ladies and gentlemen. We've started the new rebrand. And Mr. Tater Tot, how old are you?
I turned 33 this year.
33. Very impressive, my friend.
Old.
Old, but not older than most people in the squadrons community. Boss Nass just turned 40 yesterday.
I really? Oh,
Yeah.
well, congrats to Boss Nass. I wouldn't have guessed 40.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right? Like, I wouldn't have guessed 40. Like,
She looks like
congrats
she's
to
in her.
Boss Nass.
She looks
Right.
like she's in her 20s, my dude. Like,
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't put 40s, that's for sure.
and I'm guessing you are a male.
I am.
And you are Caucasian.
Yeah. Although, it's funny because of how curly my hair is, how dark I get in the summertime.
Mhm.
Like, people will ask me. I've literally been asked, "What are you?" Like at work before. Like, I was taken aback at first. Like, what? Did you just ask me?
Did
Like, you're lucky I don't get offended easily. Like, you should ask the wrong person that question.
what were they assuming something else?
They thought I was like either mixed, like African American, white, or I get I get Hispanic sometimes.
Okay.
That it's like I get really dark. I get really dark.
Like African American dark. That's
Like
interesting.
not that dark, but like
Yeah.
when growing up when I was like 3 or 4, my mom would get questions summer if I was a mixed kid, like
Uh-huh. Oh
all the
wow.
time, and I'm not. I'm well, a lot of European blood.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about your ethnicity.
I know I'm mostly French and German. That's about it. I don't know a
Uh-huh.
whole lot. I haven't done the whole ancestry thing.
Hmm.
Uh, my grandfather did a lot of that, but I didn't really get a whole, a chance to talk to him about it too much, unfortunately.
Yeah. The questions we wished we asked,
Right,
but never
right.
got to it, man. Yeah.
Hmm.
And your gaming platform is PC?
Yeah, PC. I own Xbox One X, Switch.
Hmm.
I've got them.
But you play mostly PC. Well, how often do you play your Xbox?
I haven't that thing on in a year.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like I haven't tapped on my X. Well, I turn on my Xbox to watch things, but I don't use it
Yeah, like I don't
anymore.
even need to do that anymore. Like I upgraded my PC and I have a 2K monitor now on my
Oh
PC.
Jesus.
And I have a 4K television that I was gifted from a friend. Or
Hmm.
like I'm not balling like I didn't go get that myself. But my buddy he got this for us on our wedding day, and the Xbox Series X is what I would use to look at pretty video games for a long time. And then in
Mm.
April I got a brand new PC and pretty. So now it's streams 4K video.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
that's all I'm really gonna use it for,
Absolutely.
unfortunately.
What do you have a dual monitor set up?
Right? Yeah. Well, I have two PC dual monitor on both,
Hmm.
so I have 4 monitors in total. I wish I had a bigger one.
Yeah,
I
for
use
sure.
like this old 19-inch like workstation computer,
Hmm.
like the old square one. Like I we have them lying around at work. I'm like, are we using this? Can I take this home? I can take this home. Okay, I'm taking it home. And
That's right. You were telling me that you could like take home stuff from work every now
that
and then. Oh, there it
got
is.
I
Look at that. Yeah, that's a nice little Dell
for
little
me.
thingamajig.
I'll take
Yeah, I got a little HP going on, but yeah. I mean those Dells, I wouldn't go with a Dell computer, but those monitors are not bad.
Well, it's funny you say that. My streaming PC is an old Dell workstation that has a new CPU and GPU dropped into it. That's about it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and apparently it's something that people do because I got this. I got it secondhand from a friend who used it as basically a LAN machine to go play Counter Strike at people's houses for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Well, I'm done with it. It'll stream," and it does. So it captures all the gameplay that the badass computer does and throws it on Twitch.
Innocent, you got the hook us, my dude. Like you got a guy that knows a guy, and I got no guys. Like I feel like I'm stuck with my. I mean, I got a nice PC, but like I need a guy like your guy. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I didn't like just acquire. I bought it from him, but
Hmm.
he did give me the friend discount.
Yeah, there it is. See, friend
He
discount.
did give
That's
me the
what it
friend
is.
discount. I probably got I got a steal on it, but like it was already cheap. Like
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like it's like probably a $250 computer, and I got it for like $150.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Once you look at all the parts together,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
which is
that's
pretty cool.
still a lot
If you think
cheaper.
about it, if you want a dual PC setup, guys, it doesn't take much.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I got my PC with a lot of lights, and if you buy them like pre-built, that's gonna be a
Uh
lot
huh.
That's gonna be expensive. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
For
I
something.
built I built mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
save
you're
a lot
just
of money
that
there,
awesome.
dude. Dude, I hate doing it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I've only built like 2 or 3 of them, so it's not like I'm experienced with it at all. But I know what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and it's nerve wracking every. Am I gonna like fry something by touching it the wrong? The good thing is most hardware these days is pretty
Hmm.
foolproof, unless you're just dumb. Like stupid stuff with it. Still, it didn't post at first. It didn't turn on at first.
Oh, okay.
And earlier this year, I had the power supply in it literally exploded. Like pop.
Oh.
I smelled burning. Like it went pop. And this is the second one that's happened.
Right. Actually, I remember that happening.
Yeah, you remember now?
Yeah, I think we were playing the day after, and you were like, "Yeah, my shit," or you messaged me after we were playing. You said your shit popped.
Yeah, my shit just blew up.
Yeah.
And that's the second time it's happened. I had another computer that happened while I was playing Skyrim. I don't know what happened with this. Weird. I gotta take care of it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got a guy, so you don't have to worry about that.
What's funny, it's a different guy, but it was a guy. Like literally that night, I'm like, dude. He's like, I got a power supply just sitting in my house right now. I'm like, okay.
Fuck it, man. I mean, I'm
And
telling you,
I was back
man.
up that night. I was back up that night. I've got some really good friends, I gotta say.
So
I've made some really good friends along the way.
So having these friends, like, was it through gaming? Or
I mean, you can say that in a way. Yeah, you could say that. It was really a few of us friends doing a group project in Lit 2 in high school who just became friends and stayed friends, and that circle kind of grew. And then one of our friends in that circle went to an alternative school in the morning, like a technical school that a bunch of schools went to, and he
Right.
met somebody there that they became friends, and our circles kind of melded. And like one high school and this other high school circle that would never ever meet each other other than just those circumstances melded, and we've been friends like since then. Like it's pretty cool. Like we have a fraternity of friends without ever having to go to college. Like there's a good probably 20 to 25 of us that are like really cool with one another, like always there for each other if we need to, types of stuff. It's a really good feeling.
And we'll dive into your friend group as like the interview gets on and stuff. So in total, like throughout your whole life, how many years would you say you've been gaming since day one?
Oh, that's hard to say. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing video games my whole life, right? Like ever since I can remember, I've been playing at least Atari. My dad had one. My uncle got me RoGraphic 16 when I was like 4 or 5 maybe, and then that broke. That was.
Oh man, that sucks.
And what's really upset about that whole situation is like I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't like angry at anything. I was excited. I just beat the level, and I was playing some like dragon game, shot straight ahead, and you had to go back and forth. I beat this level that I had been stuck on, and I went like this. Yes. Threw my hands in the air with the controller in hand. Never threw the controller, but the controller stayed in my hand, and I yanked the system off the entertainment. And it only fell like a foot. It only fell like a foot. But the design of the system was bad because it took little like cards almost, like literally cards, and they stuck out the front of the system just slightly. And so it fell, I think, directly on that, and never, like, it was. Still sad I don't have it.
Was it like, were you in shock when you pulled your thing back and then all of a sudden it just...
I was either in kindergarten or first grade. It's hard to remember exactly. I just remember being like excited and then devastated because I just broke my system.
Yeah.
And I didn't have one.
And that was Bay. See, like my Bay
That was my only video game system. Like my neighbors had Super Nintendos, so like, of course I was jealous of them because I couldn't play my own. Broke, not because I did something wrong, just a little careless, and now I don't have it no more.
You started knocking on your neighbor's door a lot more often than you knew.
I mean, we were always there all the time anyway, like before school because my mom had to go to work, or be watched by the neighbors.
Right.
And we played Mortal Kombat or NHL '94 in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
like the original Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you knew like it was 2D and you knew the moves, it wasn't like there was no like super moves or nothing.
Right. You
Yeah,
had to enter code
yeah,
to turn
your
the blood
cheat
on.
code. So in total, how many years have you been, or even in lifespan, have you been streaming?
I have only streamed. Well, I've been streaming. I want to. It'll be 3 years coming up in November.
Mm.
To be honest, it's not a date I ever really paid attention to. Um, I just know around about
Yeah.
when I did that. So, um, yeah, 3 years in November, and I tried streaming sometime before, and it just wasn't a thing I was like super into. I was just like, yeah, it's fun. I'm playing Eve. I need help, so I'll just play this game, and maybe some people will come help me.
Anyway,
and
yeah.
I fell off that game after a while. That game's cool, but like it's literally a second job,
Hmm.
and I don't have time.
That game is pretty old too, and they're still advertising Eve.
Well, Eve has been on, I think, what they call the 30-year plan. Their whole plan was to support the game for a total of 30.
Mm.
And, like,
Holy shit.
so, like, people could have got, like, and back in the day when it started, it allowed people to actually get invested.
Mm.
And it's a really cool game. I really wish I would have been able to access it when I was a kid.
Mm.
But I didn't. I couldn't get into PC gaming because of my mom was really silly about computers. They weren't
Mm.
for they weren't for games. They were for work. My mom's idea of computers.
And we're definitely gonna get into your parents, Mike. That's a part of the list, man. The whole shenanigans. When you stream, how often per stream do you stream? Like per hour or in hours?
Sorry. So if I'm going to stream, I want to make sure I'm at least going to do it for 2 hours minimum.
Okay.
Minimum 2 hours. If not, I don't really feel it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not worth it. Maybe worth it is the wrong word.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's just kind of too sporadic. Like if I'm going to open up a stream and I'm going to go to that stream, I don't want to be there for 15 minutes, have to walk away, and then 30 minutes come back. And, oh, they're getting ready to raid, and they just started when I got there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really treat streams like I do traditional entertainment. It's a lot of the times because I'm a very busy person,
Yeah.
2 kids. It's more like radio or TV that I just have on rather than something that I get to interact with. I try to interact as much as possible because I enjoy that aspect of it. That's the cool part of the. It's a big reason why I don't sit still and watch movies and television. I can't interact with it.
Right.
But if I can hang out with somebody and interact with them, it's a little different. And that's kind of like why I like things so much. It's a medium of storytelling or entertainment that is interactive. I get to do stuff. I might be thinking, but still.
Well, usually they can't tell with the sunglasses. You know, you're just looking fucking cool as shit. What about so two to what's the most you would be streaming?
um, Honestly, the most I should probably stream, depending on what time I started, 5 hours. Like, I start
Mhm.
to get tired
Yeah.
at like 2 or like 1 or 2 in the morning. Like, I don't want to
Mhm.
be falling asleep. I don't want to be caught asleep in my chair while I'm playing a game. It's funny, but I don't want to be that guy.
You're just such a dad that you just pass out on
Well, it's
cue.
just I'm just so old.
Yeah.
And I've got and like I used to be able to hack it when I wasn't working 40 hours a week and 9 to 5.
Mhm.
But now I can't like for 12 hours if I need to. It's I get them at max. I get probably like 7 to 8 hours, and that's even when the kids are gone.
Mhm.
So
And what about gaming like during the day?
I
Like
don't do it unless like family's out. Um
so
I don't
unless
like
you're
the game
streaming.
unless I'm live.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I don't like to play video games unless I'm streaming. Um, and that's more of a documentation type thing. If I want to save something, I have the VOD that I can go back. Like
That's true.
that's kind of what it is about. Like I enjoy having people hang out with me. Like that's of course like the biggest part of streaming is having you for an audience, just enjoying the game together and all that fun stuff. But the other part of it is like when I do something cool, I want to be able to show somebody. Like how many times when you were a kid and you were doing something in the game, like you just pulled this sick move on this dude in Call of Duty or something, and you had no way of showing somebody. You just had to tell somebody at school the next day, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well I did this, this, and this." It's like, come on.
Yo, check out this clip, bro. Check out this
Right.
clip,
Now you
man.
can see like, dude, look what I did.
Yeah.
And like, boom, there it is. It's like show and tell for real. Not this like fishing story.
Show and tell for real. What about social media just in general? Like I know you use Discord, and do you have like a Instagram or Snapchat or other
Yeah,
things?
I use Instagram. I use Instagram, Twitter, and I use Facebook privately. But that's just so I can connect it with and stuff like that. That's really what that's for. But everything else is I'm InocentDictator on.
Is it five like outlets?
Yeah,
That-
so
that
Facebook,
includes
Instagram, Twitter. I mean, you can count. Um,
Twitch, yeah.
I mean, technically, that's really all it is focus streaming at this point. And then we're missing one, I think. Maybe not.
Maybe. I mean, look, I'll just put 4, whatever. And then what about the time that you use in social media? So like even using Twitch would be considered using social media. So like about like 5 hours from Twitch.
Oh well, if you're asking how often I'm connected to social media, like during a day, it's pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like my day job's at a computer, so like I
Yeah.
have a tab of Twitter, I have a tab of Twitch, or 2 or 3, depending on who's on that day. Like, and then I'll have Instagram every once in a while open. I'll have Facebook open constantly. That's how I talk to my wife, because it's easier to type on my computer to her than text, and I
Right.
can just message her on Facebook, and she can send me videos of the kids there. That so. I'm constantly on social media. Honestly, it's quite toxic. like, but like I do my best to filter my feeds and eat, and so it's not so toxic. You still have those that are around. You're just chill, bro.
And so like how long is your work day? Just to
My
give it-
work day, I work 7:45 to 30, and then sometimes 7 to 3:5. So
Okay.
like an 8-hour day.
8 hours plus 5. Okay. That's a lot.
At
Yeah.
9 to 5.
Yeah, baby. That's a long time using those social media outlets and stuff. That's awesome though. I mean, again, like a lot of streamers you see, if they are working, they're usually working in like computer science or like IT or like engineering, whatever. So yeah, most of the time you're online. What about before you started streaming? Were you using less platforms for social media?
Yes. I didn't use Twitter at all. But that's probably about it. I didn't really get on Twitch as much before. Like I maybe did every once in a while. Like I wasn't doing it as like to view streams. I was doing it to research that I would. Like I would go into people's chats and talk to them. I just watch what they're doing. And that's it. But since I started streaming and started, like networking with people like you do, it's been actually really fun discovering what Twitch is really about. And I'm really happy I did, because now it's my favorite form of entertainment. I'm not myself. Like, to be quite honest, it's like it's where I'm at if I'm not on my game.
Right, and like you hear those parents being like, Why do you want to get online and watch somebody play a video game? That's like the
Because
most.
I can't play it myself, Mom.
Yeah, because I'm doing homework. I'm doing something else, bro. Like,
Right.
get off my
Like,
ass.
and even like for some streams, it's literally just hanging out with that person because they're not even playing the game. They're just chatting, whatever. Or hanging out in a hot tub, you know.
Well, get ready because we're about to talk about everything about you before streaming. So we're going to talk a little bit about you before streaming, then we'll
Let's
get
do it.
into the stream. So let's start with what started you as a gamer. So what or who started you onto video games just in general?
Probably my uncle. My dad too, because we owned an Atari, and that was probably for him.
Mm-hmm.
More than my mom. I'm sure my mom, she played Pong. I know that. And she played Pac-Man. But that's really the extent of her gaming career. And but yeah, my dad. No, my dad also influenced it a lot. But my uncle was the one who got me my first system, so that's probably why I kind of associate him with that.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
yeah.
but like my dad would play computer games. Like my mom would say the computer's for work, but my dad would still get games for it. um, like and then like my grandfather was like a well a laser engineer quite literally,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, he was in the 60s and 70s. He kind of helped pioneer laser communication, um, which is really cool. Like
Yeah, that is
yeah,
cool as
for
shit.
McDonnell Douglas, and he was like he eventually had his own department of business and uh, new technologies department. Like he was the director. Like he was a cool. He did cool shit with math.
Yeah, no, that sounds fucking. Did he like work with like IBM and stuff at the time? Or?
I don't know the specifics. A lot of the stuff he wasn't able to talk about
It's
because a lot of the stuff was military related.
okay.
Um, so if you can imagine what the military uses for it,
Hmm.
then you can imagine what my grandfather helped develop.
That set you up, man. That set you up for the life you have, bro.
Well, yeah, I have to admit, he did. There's quite literally, he's the reason I can smile so big. I'll just put it that. But we were talking about gaming.
Right. I mean, but that's kind of like setting you up for technology and
Well,
being in
right,
that world.
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's where I was going with it. Is like I was whenever I would be at my grandparents' house, he would always let me on the computer for the most, just to play video games or part like whatever I wanted to, like any sort of game. He just was happy for me to be on the computer and interacting with it and learning it.
Hmm.
I wish he would have pushed programming on me more as a kid. 'Cause that's a huge thing. But
Right.
and I'm surprised he didn't realize that. Considering his career. But um like I would play like one of the first games I remember playing on the computer was Lemming. I don't know if you're familiar with Lemming.
Mm, I am, but tell us a little bit about it, just for the
So
listeners.
Lemmings is a two-dimensional world where you have these little guys, lemmings, that will walk in a straight path. They fall out of a place, and you try to get them to another spot on the board,
Hmm.
essentially. And you can give them different actions depending on the level. Like sometimes you could have one block a direction, so he'll stop
Hmm.
it, and they'll stop walking, and they'll go back and forth, or they'll go back the way they came from. And then you would
Hmm.
set up another if you wanted to trap your lemmings for a minute while you work on construction to get them to where you need to go.
Hmm.
Because you could also have lemmings dig through the map. You could have them build ladders and all sorts of different things. You could have one stand at the edge of a cliff and tell them to use a parachute when they get off the cliff.
Mm.
It's a puzzle game essentially. But it was that and this other game. I can't think of what it's called. Um, it was a card game, and I'm pretty certain it was a real card game, but they redid the cards to more simulate the game the card game was simulating, so to speak.
Hmm.
It was like a race where you could get flat tires and stuff like that,
Uh.
and forget exactly. Like you would take turns drawing cards, and depending on what card you got different. You would make progress in the race. can't think of what the. But those are the two games I remember playing. That and Mahjong. Mahjong was also the Mac. He was a big Macintosh.
Mahjong. I remember Mahjong. Dude. And those card games, like, those are, like, the most basic, like, games that, like, actually came out on computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, later, when we got older and games started getting better, I was playing, like, Mech Warrior. Super Wing Commander 3 was a really big game that I enjoyed. A lot of Mark Hamill was in that game. Like, how cool is that? Like, Mark Hamill was the main. You played Mark Hamill.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he was the pilot, and it was like it kind of made sense to me in my mind because he was also
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Like as a kid, I'm like, oh, Luke Skywalker's in this game, and he's a pilot. Yeah, that of course he's a pilot. And then later in life, I didn't really find this out until a few years ago, but there was another game called Full Throttle.
Uh-huh.
It's a point-and-click adventure game that was put out by Lucasfilm or LucasArts. And Mark Hamill voice acted in this game. He was the main bad guy. Kind of uses Joker voice that he has. I really enjoyed that game a lot because it had a lot of like Star Wars stuff in it too. Like one of the bikers that you would take down in a section of the game had a rebel tattoo on the middle of his head. Like he had like the rebel symbol tattooed on his forehead.
Wow.
Like, yeah. Like, oh, and I would be like, oh, that's fucking cool. That's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because I was a big Star Wars kid, obviously, and still a big Star Wars kid. You can't tell.
Were you like really super? So what really got you into Star Wars, and was there anything else that you were into, like Star Trek or whatever?
No, Star Trek. I didn't really understand when I was a child.
Okay,
I didn't really get it. I got it to a point. I knew we were in space. I knew there were aliens that we liked and didn't like, and it was all too serious for me to really appreciate as a younger individual myself. Like I was too into the action. Like I have ADHD. I'm a super active kid. I played sport. Like I was all over the place. Like jumping around my house, just like whatever. I had energy all the time. I was always doing. And then Star Wars, I don't know. I just latched onto it. I really liked it. Like Jedi were fucking cool. X-wings and TIE fighters were fucking cool. Like the dogfight in A New Hope was probably one of the coolest scenes to me as a kid. The duel between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi were some of the coolest things I thought I saw as a kid. Honestly, I think I was very, very lucky to grow up when I did when it comes to Star Wars fandom. Because, yeah, it would have been cool to see the originals when they were, new, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got the originals again after I got to see them in theaters with special edition. So I got to see those movies after Star Wars had been out for a few decades, or a couple decades now, or no, about a decade.
Yeah.
And so there's plenty of Star Wars merchandise, fandom already, and I get to go see the special edition, the very first movie in theater, Episode 4, A New Hope. And I get to see it with a whole new 90s graphics and all this cool stuff. And I remember seeing the movie at home, and then I remember seeing the commercial with hundreds of almost 50 to 60 starfighters going in on the Death Star. And then it blowing up with the ring on it. Like, how cool was that?
Yeah, that's fucking sick, dude. And
then the prequel trilogy was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. The prequel trilogy is awesome. If you don't like the prequel trilogy, I can give you a pass on episode 2 because episode 2 I think is also trash. But in like the action regard, I think it did a lot of the setup for the whole story overall well. But the action scenes could have been so.
I thought, not to get off topic here, but I thought so towards the end when they're fighting the droid army on Geonosis, I thought that was like top at the time. I thought that was top notch CGI.
It was top notch until and they did something similar with the lightsaber duel. It was awesome until they shot down one of the fleeing spacecraft, and it crashes, and the battle just becomes a dust storm of laser. Like,
Yeah.
that's all it was. You got close-ups of Mace Windu leading troops with laser fire going off in the sandstorm. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't see anything after that.
Yeah, I mean, it
Like,
was
at that point,
very
they're just like,
brief.
okay, the battle's over. Now you're gonna go watch this lightsaber battle, and it's really just Anakin and Count Dooku with close-ups with blue and red lights across.
I thought they could have done better on that lightsaber battle.
Yeah,
With
the
Dooku.
cool part was Yoda and Dooku. I thought
Yeah, that
was
was it.
cool. And like when I was a kid, I was like, man, I wish they would have made Yoda a puppet. And then because they kept him a puppet in the first one, in episode 1,
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain they did.
Yeah,
But
they
in
definitely
episode
did.
2, they CG'd him, which is understandable. How are you going to have Count Dooku fight Yoda?
A puppet.
A puppet. Like that would be so hard to do. That would be incredibly hard to do. I couldn't imagine how you could do that.
Oh, jeez.
And but that should not have been the cool. Like Anakin should have had a good fight.
Oh,
He
yeah,
should have
for
been able to
sure.
succeed it. And he did have a good fight for a while. We just didn't get to see it. We got to solve.
Yeah, no, his arm gets hit to the side. He sits there for a good hot minute, and then Dooku's like, shh, shh.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Like-
The choreography was a bit.
Like you're coming off of episode 1 with choreography between Obi-Wan,
We had people
Qui-Gon,
doing
and
flips.
Mace Windu. Like, what's going on? Like, you have the most powerful Jedi. I think he was like at like level 6 of power was Anakin, and he's just, I don't know. He just seemed way too stale, right? It was
Well,
just
not to
too
mention he's
stale.
fighting Count Dooku.
Yeah,
Like, and that should be cool.
yeah.
Like, I get that he was played by I can't think of his name.
Well,
off the top of
Hayden
my-
Christensen, or are you talking about Dooku?
Dooku.
Yeah.
Sir. My tongue.
Saruman.
Yeah, that's the guy. And like the reason his lightsaber, I remember reading about this. I don't remember how true it is, but I remember his lightsaber was shaped specifically because it would be easier for him to hold it due to like arthritis or something.
Yeah.
That's why his is curved. Is that way he could actually hold it properly and not have to be in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you can't really make him do a whole lot. Like,
Yeah. And you know, like I think they did the best they could. I mean, George Lucas was ahead of his time. You know, he knew what he
Yeah.
wanted to do, and he didn't have the right stuff for it. So you know,
Yeah.
But nowadays, like we have everything we need except good script writing. So.
We just need the prequel. We need the prequel special edition now.
Yeah, so we could go back to theaters and rewatch
Yeah.
it. Hell yeah. So I'm guessing when you were growing up, social media use was not a non-factor. You know,
Yeah.
when was the first time you actually used, you know, a social media app?
It would have. Well, you wouldn't even call it an app at the point. It would be a website.
Mm.
And I guess you could kind of consider like AIM, like AOL Instant Messenger or
Yeah.
Yahoo Chats to be social media in a way. You could, but in what we consider it now, really MySpace was the first
Right.
thing that I really ever used, other than maybe a paintball forum.
So you were hanging out with like people would come over to your house, or you would go to their house and play some games and like play co-op and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like before then, it was all LAN parties, right?
Right.
So, well, I take that back a little bit. I was able to play StarCraft and Diablo online, and then there was also Marathon that was also able to be played online. But for the most part, like when Halo came out, it was all LAN parties. Nobody had like Xbox Live.
It was computer, right? Like that was it for Halo. It wasn't even Xbox.
Well, now I say that I did have me and my brother. I have a younger brother and younger sister, but me and my brother had friends who were also brothers about the same age, and they had a their dad had got them computer stuff like that. Their dad was a technology guy, and there was a thing called Xbox Connect. It was before Xbox Live was a thing. And what you did is you would connect your Xbox to your computer, and your computer would trick your Xbox into a LAN party. And you could play online, and you would connect through Xbox Connect, and people would host the game. It was a bit fickle, like we would have to disconnect, reconnect every once in a while. And sometimes the lag was incredible to where you actually had to lead your target. Like it was spot on. Like once you figured out where the lead was, it was fine. But and it wasn't ever a lot. Like you had to like lead it like maybe with like if you were sniping, your crosshair would not be red when you pulled the trigger or something. It would be blue, like just ahead of the guy. Like just ahead of the guy, like on his face. The circle was like right here instead of right here.
I remember anticipating the lag in those games, man. That was a whole process. That taught you how to about bullet drop. That taught you about leading your shots. Like it was great.
Did you ever watch Red vs. Blue?
Oh, absolutely, man.
Well, you know where those names come from, like Riff, Donut?
No, I didn't.
They come from the default names from Halo of what people would be. So like you if you didn't have a profile on the game or the Xbox back then and you wanted to play as a guest, it would still give you a name because it had to. And it would give you a random one like Donut or Griff or there were so many of them. And that's where they got their names from for Red versus Blue, cuz like in the first episode they say, "Do you ever wonder why we're here?" And he's like, "I don't know, life is I guess that's the meaning of life, trying to search for the answer." And he responds, "No, here in this valley, there's literally no openings. There's nothing. There's no strategic advantage here. Why are we here?"
Dude, the first season was great, man.
Dude, I wish I could have stayed up with that show. It would have been good.
They had like 8 seasons. I think it's
still going, dude.
Yeah, it's still going.
Like. It's incredible. What's really cool about that is it didn't get shut down. It got picked up. That was like one of the first internet things that I saw that was just fan made that got picked up. And that kind of happened like, well, we're not talking.
But no, it like started. I don't know. It's kind of like you have Halo and it's advertised well, but then you have like kind of like the TV show that keeps it going, and it's like the very first I would say, what do you call it, the very first like dubbed Star Wars like game. Like we always see dubs, content all over YouTube and stuff that we look, and that's what builds up somebody's like reputation. But this was it. This is Machinima's way of like giving back to the community as a part of its product. So I loved it, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
So with gaming, and you probably had schoolwork and all that stuff, and you had family, how would you balance all of that stuff together?
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep. Hey.
No, seriously, in high school though, I would stay up a lot, and then I would probably sleep in my boring class.
And like, so you played games when you had to go to sleep, but during the day you would probably do work and stuff. So
like I would be done with my work. Like, when I say boring classes, it's because I was like wasn't challenged in them or anything like that. They were just what happened to me is like I changed school districts. And a lot of the stuff that I covered in middle school, I ended up recovering in high school because the curriculums were that different. So, like, I didn't have to do shit. Like, I knew it all already. Like, I'm like, this is old. And I knew it. And so, like, it was kind of nice. I've always been one of those kids. I was always one of those kids who just did not like doing homework. I'm like, I'm not at school. This is me time. I'm not at school. This is me time. And, like, I was always good at taking tests. So I could get by just by taking tests. And
you're the lucky one.
Yeah,
you're one of the lucky ones.
I was one of the... Well, we say that. And then it turns out I don't read very fast.
Uh,
So when it came to taking the ACT or the SAT, I think SAT it was,
yeah.
um, I couldn't get through the tests quick enough. Like I just couldn't get through them. Like
Mhm.
I remember on every single subject, it was about halfway through the test, they would say 5 minutes. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm filling out the rest of these. And
Nice.
hoping I'm getting them right. Like the only one I did get through almost all the way was the math, and that was about it. And that's just because I would always like to do the math in my head. I never like to write it down, so I just do
Mhm.
it in my head, and I was normally pretty quick about it. So,
You said you had like ADHD because of your
hmm
energy. Was that like a official diagnosis, or was
oh
that
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
yeah?
I'm officially diagnosed with ADHD. That happened when I was in fourth grade. Started
Okay,
taking Ritalin then.
Ritalin.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still take medication for?
I do not. I don't. I don't.
Okay.
That was more of a I'm not going to do it anymore decision. Less
Uh,
of you don't need it anymore decision, but more of a
right.
I'm just done with it.
And so, when you were growing up and you knew that you had this diagnosis, how was it trying to kind of control it in some capacity, try to manage yourself?
Well, I was very fortunate in having a mom who understood and very much advocated for me in school. And on the other side of that is I also went to the same middle school she taught at as a
Oh
teacher.
wow.
So right, so she had access to my teachers on a very easy level. Um, so that really helped. And she also understood like what an IEP meant, an independent education program,
Mhm.
and how to go about getting those and what you need, what has to happen with those. Like, so I did have a lot of advantages when it came to school that probably a lot of people, well, I know a lot of people don't get. Your headset die.
Hold on one
Uh oh.
second. No,
Uh
no, no,
oh.
my thing just kind of crackled up. All right, go ahead. You're good now.
Yeah.
You're good now. I have to keep
So yeah,
turning my shit off.
I was lucky because my mom knew about all these things and really advocated for it. Like I remember
Right.
being in IEP meeting a lot. I would my mom took me to therapy sessions, as a kid,
Mm.
um, that were both with my parents and without my parents,
Mm.
and I learned some good strategies through that as a kid. Like I would excessively tap on my desk with a pencil, and it would drive everybody around me crazy. Like, and like at the time, I didn't understand why it would drive people crazy. Now I get it, but but like at the time, I was just I gotta do something. I've just been sitting here all day, man, and I just can't be here no more. Or I just tap my foot constantly, like, and like the teacher would be going over something, and then cool, teacher went over something. I got it. I learned it.
Mhm.
We can move on.
Right.
But the kid over there did not get it. And so he's raising his hand a bunch of questions, and now I'm bored. Here we are. What are we doing? Come on. And like and like as a kid, I was really honestly kind of toxic about it. I was never like vocal about it. But like as a kid I'm like, this stupid idiot. And I shouldn't be that way. Because not
Mhm.
everybody is, gifted in every subject there is. Like some people are good at math, some people are bad at math, some people are good at drawing, and some people are terrible at it. So
Mhm.
like, and like as a kid, I didn't really fully grasp that concept, but you know, we grow up.
Yeah, you grow up. That's pretty much it. You said you went to counseling. Did you have a positive experience with your counselor?
Yeah, yeah. I came out of it believing everybody needs a therapist. Honestly, I think everybody could use somebody to talk to confidentially and all that. It's a big process of being able to process your own emotions and being able to speak out loud to somebody, even if it's just hear it. Give me 1 second. I can hear my wife talking with my daughter on the other side of the door.
Oh yeah, I hear her. She's so adorable. I can
Yeah.
hear that voice. What about? Let's talk. So stress, I'm guessing, was kind of with like with ADHD because I have it. I know stress is put into physical like physical energy. So like when you're stressed, you start to move your body parts. You start to fidget a little bit.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, that's pretty much what was going down. What other examples of like stress was going on when you were growing
Honestly, it was probably it was difficult for me to make friends as a young kid,
up?
just because probably I was so like all over the place. Um, and I remember my mom telling me that one of my teachers had said, you know, he's a funny kid, but he's just the other students don't get it. like, they just don't get it. Like they just don't get it. Like he makes jokes that the teacher gets, but like the kids don't get it. And so, like I didn't have that going for me either. Like I would make a joke and it'd be crickets. The teacher's trying to hold back laughter. so like, and so like, I don't know. I didn't connect with other children very often at school and stuff. So there was definitely a stressor there, and something I worry about for my son and my daughter. Honestly,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was a rough road in school for me until I met the friends that I have now.
Did you ever deal with like bullying at all?
Oh
Or-
yeah, terribly.
Tell me about these perpetrators.
I mean, they were kids. You know, kids can be cruel.
Okay.
Funny enough, my niece is, well, we share a niece.
Yeah.
We share a niece. My sister and his brother had a kid together. Eventually, now, she was adopted to another family, which we still get to see. I get to see my niece and stuff, so I get to see him every once in a while. I mean, and we're civil now. Like, we don't really talk when we're around. I don't want to talk. It's not something I really look forward to doing. But yeah, it's not something I
Yeah.
really look forward to doing. But you know, we're adults, and he gets it. He's a teacher now, so I'm pretty certain he gets it too. And I just don't want to have the conversation.
It
Like I see him once or twice a year at the very, very most, and I haven't seen him in a couple years. So it's not something I need to worry about, and not worth the stress either way.
you know those people you're around, but you consider it adulting rather than like what we're doing right now. Like we're doing this on like
we're just kind of shooting the shit. Honestly.
yeah. This is like a formal interview, but we're just really just doing what we do best.
Right.
And then you're with this guy, and you're just like you're making those jokes. Everybody, that one person's laughing, and then it's crickets, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yep, that's exactly right.
Oh gosh. So you told me that your mom was a teacher growing up, so I'm sure she tried to help you manage like things like schoolwork and all that
I
stuff.
had planners and things like I had to write things down. My mom had to sign it like the day, like so she looked at it, and my teacher looked like I had to have my teacher sign it, my mom sign it. Like it was a very regimented thing.
Oh,
And the thing is I don't know if it was actually helpful because I really don't use any of those skills now. I don't. And like I do to a point. Like I'll set reminders on my phone we have different tools. I don't need a planner. I could use a calendar on my wall. That would be good.
right.
But like I don't really need a planner. I've got literally reminders set for things that I need. My phone is like, are we gonna make it?
I don't know. Shit is falling apart over here, man. We're fucked.
Oh man.
Yeah. See, I
like-
need to. Yeah.
Like at work, I don't like when I'm at work. When I need to call somebody back, I get a notification that I need to call somebody back. I don't have to write it down and then check my planner to see I need to call this person back at this time. It's that I get this, I call them back, they don't answer, I leave them a voice, they call me back. Or they don't need to call me back because I left them all the info in the voicemail and they actually listen.
Right, exactly. I mean, you have your methods. I mean, it's maybe to be conscious and aware, and again, like
Yeah,
today we
that.
have technology, like at its
Right,
finest.
right.
Yeah.
And like yeah, it definitely was a big advantage to be aware of my limitations as far as my ability to keep organized, stay on task. Because like unless you are really focused on that one thing, it's really easy to get distracted by a thought, like like just a random thought. You're like, oh well, and then you're thinking about the next thing, the next thing, and the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and you're looking out the window, and you're like, oh, that would be nice, and then all of a sudden, 20 minutes have gone by, you've done nothing, and it's like, well, that was a good daydream.
I always say that my ADHD is my superpower because I'm thinking about like 1,000 things. Like even when I'm gaming, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm in that time bomber. Like I see these guys going. I know what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I know what's around me. I know where my guys are. Like it's just like 1,000 thoughts, but it's going on in like,
And then the tunnel vision.
and then and then you know what to do. So you do it, and then you were like, oh wait, I was supposed to do like 4 other things. that was
Yep, and
supposed
then
to.
you hyper focus and
Yeah, it's fucked,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
But like
My
you, yeah,
my brother, he sent me the other day, like the ripped Doge dog versus
yeah.
the like the the upset Doge dog. He's like ADHD, best hunter gatherer in the world, modern man. I can't pay attention to. I hate my 9 to 5.
Oh Jesus Christ, dude.
Like, I thought that was
Oh.
so funny.
Dude, the memes are just insane. Like once
I love
memes started,
memes.
dude,
Like,
when they became a thing, I was like, yes, like now I'm gonna know what I can relate to, what I can. Even those I can't relate to, I still find it
yeah,
funny.
memes are the. It's interesting. Like I think about it honestly, and how they have cycled since the internet started.
Hmm.
What memes have stayed around? Like none of them really have at this.
There's always a new
You,
one, bro.
yeah, yeah. There's always a new one. It's like every month they cycle out almost. It's like it's funny. It's
it
interesting word.
it's funny how Vine has created such an atmosphere, and then there's no more
Vine.
Vine.
What's Vine? There is no more
Exactly.
Vine. There's TikTok.
Do it for the TikTok. It just doesn't sound right.
Right. No, no. Do it for the Vine, bruh.
Yeah, bro. What about your dad, man? What's your dad do?
My dad, he works as a FedEx courier. Um,
Mm.
and he's really into like wargaming and stuff like that. Like his favorite game is Hearts of Iron, right? Um,
Mm.
familiar with those?
No, no. Tell me about them.
Basically they're general simulators, or like you control a country. Hearts of Iron is typically set in World War II. I think all of them, where it's like a global campaign. Um, like if you know about the old war gamings with like the cardboard pieces and like
Yeah,
giant maps,
like
essentially that
Risk.
on a computer.
Okay.
Well, more so than Risk, like way more
Oh.
in depth than Risk, like money and resources and different types of troops, like sending bombers over here to be stationed over here on this front, and declaring allies with these people or declaring war on those guys
Mm-hmm.
and breaking treaties with these guys and starting new ones with those guys. Like it's a very in-depth game. It's not really about the graphics at all. It's just the computer can simulate all the dice roll stuff per game,
Mm-hmm.
which is why he played. Who else was playing? Somebody in the Star Wars community was playing.
Oh,
Who
you
was it?
talk. Yeah.
Somebody, I think it might have been
Kerensky
Disaster. No, it was Disaster.
plays. No, he plays Age of Empire.
He was playing the other night. It was Disaster. It was I remember this specifically now because we were in Zultri's stream and Zultri's stream died.
Oh.
And yeah, I was sad. 'Cause I was like, I had my food. I was getting ready to sit down and relax. And Zultri is a great stream to relax in. Like if you want to relax, Zultri is a great guy to hang out with.
Yes, he
And
is.
I was about ready to eat, and I was talking to Disaster about stuff, and we were just chilling, and all of a sudden Zultri's gone. But and I remember him telling me he was playing Hearts of Iron 4, and that's and he plays that game. Like like it's a pretty known game, but
Hmm.
just in that type of community.
Is it? Is that what? Your dad being into strategy games. Is that what got you into like those type of games?
Absolutely. My dad would play this like, excuse me. He played a bunch of old strategy games, like Napoleon era strategy games, and like this is in the '90s and stuff. There was this game called Close Combat, where it would take actual like World War II footage and use it, and you would play through whole campaigns. Like my favorite one was Close Combat: A Bridge Too Far, and it was during the Operation Market Garden, and this
Yes.
was during Germany's kind of retreat after the after that whole parachuting invasion that the Allies did.
Hmm.
And they what the Germans' big strategy was pulling back and blowing up bridges as they did it. Um,
Hmm.
and that's where the name of the game goes, A Bridge Too Far. There was one I think that they got away that they couldn't get, like the Allies couldn't get to in time before the Germans blew it up.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like the main premise throughout some of the campaigns. And it like that is probably one of my favorite strategy games of all time. Like StarCraft, Age of Empires, Total War, those are all really cool strategy games. But those are probably some of my favorites. Can you hear her in the background over there?
I can. I
Can you?
can. But not like a lot. Not like.
Well, what's funny is my mic's not lighting up all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes, but like when you're close, like I can't even tell.
Okay.
Yeah. So were your parents encouraging by your career choices?
Well, yeah, but I made kind of practical career choices. Like I was going to go into IT. That didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because of money. That was my
Yeah.
biggest problem. Was money. And because while my grandfather did well, my parents were they had me way before they were ready to have kids,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were kind of set back. I was ready to go to school. They had two other kids to worry about too, so
Right.
like I was kind of on my own,
Yeah.
in most regards. Like they paid for a lot of my stuff, but they couldn't pay for any really of my schooling or any sort of or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, what was the question again? I'm sorry, I
So
lost track.
was your parents like encouraging of your career choice?
Yeah, because I was going to go into computer networking,
Mm-hmm.
and work stuff there, but that changed. I was going to do linguistics. I was going to learn German, which I had a good grasp on from 2 years of high school.
Right.
German's pretty. It's almost like, and if you want to talk formally, they invert their. Uh,
It's difficult. I mean, like I
I,
speak.
I, yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean,
I
it's very unique.
German.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
think?
like French and Spanish come from Latin roots, and then German is like German and Russian are just like it's just out
Well,
there. Like,
well. Okay, so you have the Romance languages, French, and Spanish, which you grew up with French, right?
yeah,
Didn't you grow up with it?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's probably why those come more naturally to you. But
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously speak English, like, just fine. Like,
Sometimes kind of well,
I
sometimes kind of
mean,
shitty.
most native speakers speak their language terrible, but
Yeah.
um, but English and German are both Germanic language. And if when you really look at it, German is almost to a T English, like except for how you conjugate certain verbs.
Right.
Like, uh, like when you go to do something, it's you machen, and like each mach, do mach, or it's like each machen, do machs, each mach. Like there's five different ways to say the word. That's
Yeah.
the difficult part, is learning when
Right.
to say it. And then der, das, and der, and das are all three ways to say the for different types of. So
Okay.
like das Boot or das Boot, or I think it's der Teacher. It might be der Teacher. Like so, yeah. It German. It's a lot like English. There's a lot of conjugate.
Have you used German? Like, have you been in a situation where you had to use your German?
Had to? No.
Yeah.
No, but I would go to like, I would go and talk to like German people online. Go to German chat rooms sometimes just to
Hey.
read and try to say hi and stuff like that. Um, like I know, like I knew enough German at the time out of high school that I felt like I could go to Germany and survive, mainly
Mm,
because they could speak English too.
right.
But like I could learn a lot quicker, and I was at a point where I felt like if I could just throw myself in there, I would start learning a lot because
Mm,
like I was learning directions around town and how to say this and that, like basic stuff that you need to travel.
right.
And so, and that's how you start, right? It's like
Mm,
basic stuff that you need to travel because that's what you're doing, and you
mm,
need,
right.
and you need to know how to get someplace because you've not been there before, and they may not speak your language.
It's always a fucking coin flip, even when you
Hmm.
use your fucking, even when you try speaking their language. It's like, okay, well, let me just give you broken German and hope
Right.
for the best. Yeah.
And then hope you don't come from a place where the dialect's so different that I won't recognize any of the words.
Right.
Because like even we have English speakers that we won't be able to understand sometimes. Like go
Hmm.
to New Orleans, like go to New Orleans and try to talk to some people there, like in like the thick of it, like in the bayou, or even just some places in the city. It, like the accent down there gets so thick that they don't even like. Have you ever been to New Orleans?
I was very young, like very, very
Okay.
young. Yeah.
Well, I've never actually been, but I talk to people from there on the phone a lot.
Oh
They
yeah.
don't say New Orleans. They don't say New Orleans like you're supposed to. They say Nolens.
Yeah.
Nolens.
Yeah.
And like it's one word, two syllables. And it's not supposed to be one word, two syllables.
They're
And you
fucking
get
lazy.
and like I mean even around me sometimes there's people that I don't understand. Like you travel an hour out into the country here and I don't understand every once in a while. Like
Sometimes an accent is just thick as shit, and you
right,
can't.
right,
You
right.
can't.
It's not their fault. It's just
No, it's not.
the environment that they're in. It's the language they speak there,
Hmm.
essentially.
Let's get into your gaming, dog. Have you ever played something competitive before Squadrons?
I wouldn't say competitive the way I am with Squadrons, not in the
Mm-hmm.
video game sense. I have on other types of sports, but
Mm-hmm.
not in gaming. I mean, I've competed in like Halo tournaments and stuff like that, just like local
Oh
little things.
wow.
Like nothing major. Like local
Yeah.
little things that are just like put on by people, and you win a T-shirt, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to write home about. But yeah, I've go to tournaments and do stuff like that, and it was fun.
Was it when you played in your first tournament? What was that feeling like?
I mean, I was a kid, and I already thought pretty highly of my gaming skills because I was playing online too. Like this was around Halo 2 era,
Oh
and
wow.
I played Halo
Right.
all the time. That was my game. Um, and like I was playing at a local tournament, so I wasn't really too worried about it because I was playing with some really good. Like I wasn't like the best in Halo, but I
Mm-hmm.
literally studied my Halo gameplay. Like I would go to Bungie.net, see where I got killed from by what weapon at this time in the match, and all that stuff. Like we because you could, they gave you the tool. Like they gave you the tools to do it. Like and eventually they gave you full recordings of the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wish implemented that Halo 3 video system. It was so good. It was you,
Halo 3? Oh yeah,
yeah, where
absolutely.
you could go
Yeah.
back into any match that you recorded and then just play it back from any angle, get different viewpoints from like before its time, really. And people just don't take advantage of that type of thing now. Like imagine if Squadron.
Well, I mean,
Imagine,
like now you do it with your stream, right? Like,
well, to a point, but like
yeah.
Halo allowed you to move a camera around at
Oh
any
well, yeah.
point. Like pause it, move camera here, take a shot, pause it, come over here, and then clip it all together. Like it allowed you to do some really gnarly stuff.
Hmm.
And like I can't think of a game now that has that.
Is it like when you did play Halo 2 and stuff,
Mhm.
were they casted? Like those
No,
games that
no, no,
they
no.
weren't? Okay.
Like this was before like esports blew up. Like at
Mm-hmm.
the time, I think Counter Strike was still like, like I wasn't ever like MLG type stuff. Like I wasn't trying to do
Right.
that sort of thing. It was just me playing with a bunch of guys, and we would go into the ranked and just tear shit up, and that was about it. And then we would play, locally, like at different tournaments and stuff like that. It wasn't too popping around here though.
How many tournaments would you say you've been in with Halo?
With Halo, oh, just like one or two. Like it wasn't even
Uh,
anything incredible. Yeah.
uh,
And then in college, I got to play on a Counter Strike team, which we literally didn't even scrim once. we like we, and the only reason we formed this is because my school. I went to this school called Rankin Technical College. It's kind
uh-huh.
of the big tech school here, and my school wanted to put a Counter Strike team in the mix that was happening at the Science Center. There's a
Mm-hmm.
tournament happening at the local Science Center here in St. Louis, and my
Mm-hmm.
team wanted to put their name in the mix just to advertise. And
Mm-hmm.
it was an excuse for the IT department to buy a bunch of badass PCs to play with.
Oh my god. They're fucking connivers, dude. But that's
Dude,
awesome though.
we would play Counter Strike on Fridays sometimes at school, like in college.
Right.
Like like whenever we would be done with our classes, we were like, "You want to go upstairs and play some Counter Strike?" And it would be we would have a LAN party on school grounds in the schoolroom, and these were the same computers we'd work on too. Like these were some bad at the time. These were some badass computers. And I even got to take one home at one point. Like we got to take it home and have it at our house for like a couple weeks. That was
Mm.
because this was before I had my own computer of any merit. Like I was running on an old toaster, and this is
Yes.
like 2008. I'm running World of Warcraft at like 15 frames per second, and trying to level up in. Oh no, I can't think of the name. The jungle place, Stranglethorn Vale.
Oh.
You ever play WoW?
I played it for a little bit. I didn't know that you were huge into WoW.
I was at one point. I was at one point. I had a buddy who was in one of the one of the better guilds in the world at the time. I was never hardcore like he was,
Mm-hmm.
but my friend he played in a couple of them were in guilds together. A guild called Fox and something else. I want to say they got a world first at one point, maybe like world third or fourth. I could be wrong. This was 10 years ago. Um, and I wasn't that interested. Like we always gave him shit for being on WoW while we were all over. Like, we were like, "Hey, we're hanging out. Get off of World of Warcraft, you bum."
Loser.
Right, pretty much. Just pretty much. I mean, we all played too, and eventually we just go home and play ourselves too. But like, it was just like we're hanging out, dude.
And so you became so when you figured that you love playing games with friends and stuff, and like that's kind of like what united you as a person, well, not as a person, but like united, like kind of like this little group of people that
Yeah,
shared
that was the
similar
focal
values.
point of our friend group. Yeah.
Yeah. is,
Um,
is that what kind of inspired you as like a streamer? It's like, oh, you.
no, not necessarily. What got me into streaming again was one of my RL friends was streaming. He since quit streaming, but he was streaming and like, you know what? He's doing something on Twitch. I could do that myself. And like it's really more of a sense like I would like to do this. Like I would like to stream full time eventually. But
Right.
more so it was a way for me to work from home rather than have to maintain a part-time job
Mm-hmm.
on top of my full-time job. Um,
Right.
and I was able to successfully get that accomplished. I do better on Twitch than I did at that part-time job, which is really I don't have to work at GameStop part-time.
Yeah, no, GameStop would be like streaming over GameStop would definitely be a leg up in like the industry for
Well,
sure.
and I mean, not even that. It's like I'm home more, right? Like I get to be
Right,
home more, and I've got kids. Like when I
right.
was at GameStop, it'd be literally my wife. If wife, literally, my wife and just the kids. If my wife absolutely needs me, I can
Mm-hmm.
get up and I can go care of. And
Mm-hmm.
I get to be like that's really the beauty of it. I get to be
And so with your kids, so before you had kids, what was kind of like your idea? Like you could be out, you could have these hours to like be at work and do what you needed to do, and then once you had kids, it was kind of all changed.
Yeah. So I would work GameStop just for play money before I had
Mm-hmm.
kids. Like that's what it was for play
Mm-hmm.
money, and it was really to fund my paintball. Because I
Yeah.
was playing paintball then. But then
Oh.
kids happened, and like, well, paintball is expensive, and so are children. So one of them's
Right.
got to go, and it's not the kids.
Well, they
So
can come with you.
right. Well, so the paintball was stopped, and at that point, GameStop really did not become worth it anymore, other than to like help buy stuff for my children. And but then I could
Mhm.
get them stuff, but then I wouldn't see them, and that was always terrible. I hated it because now I see them, and then I go to work, and so to speak, I get on the stream after they go to bed. Me coming home when they get to bed, or
Right.
after they've been asleep. That was the worst. Like I would go to work, like especially if I had to work on a day I had to go to work early. I would literally
Mhm.
go to work before my kids woke up, come home by the time they were asleep. I literally didn't get to see them all, and that's not fun. Like
No.
it happens. Some kids
Yeah.
don't get to see their parents for months, years, because
Mhm.
of different situations. So I'm lucky, but like I could have it better. So I
Yeah.
made it that way.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you really care about them. Like you want to be around them as they're growing up
Yeah.
and not miss a minute. That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. I mean, I had a great home. Like, honestly, childhood was probably one of the best times of my life because my parents did so much for me and my sibling,
Hmm.
and that resonated with me. Like, my dad's my hero, and I want to be my kid's hero. uh, To be honest,
Do you think that do you kids like kind of see what you're trying to do with them
I
and
mean,
just
they're 4 and 2, so no,
yeah,
not yet. You don't,
yeah,
and
they
we don't
don't.
really get it until we're much older either, do we? Like, I mean, we might understand here and there,
Hmm.
but until you're an adult in the thick of it, you really don't understand. Like, like
Oh
we don't
yeah,
get what our
absolutely.
parents like, and then you think to yourself, man, because my parents had me at 19 and 22,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, so I think like when I was like 25 before I had kids, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to work, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and just to think if I had a 3-year-old and another one on the way at this point in my life, I don't know how we fucking did it. Like I don't know, like you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
and if I was my mom at that point, I'd have I'd been pregnant with kid number 3 at that point. So like, can you like I couldn't even imagine. Like I mean I can imagine, and that's why I appreciate. It. So
Did they when they had your brother and your sister, was it kind of like, okay, well, we've already had one and we need to make sure that that one is not alone here?
we were all accidents. We were all
Oh, really?
accidents.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was trying-
My parents are straight up. We none of you were planned.
Okay. Well, it seemed like even though you guys weren't playing, they were just like, all right, here we go. Like,
I
it was,
mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. They were raised on that belief where you know,
they done did good.
yep.
They done did
Yeah,
good.
they did all right. They did all right.
And we haven't really talked about your brother and your sister. Like, tell me a little bit about them.
Well, they're both 3 years. Like we come in increments of 3. My brother's 3 years younger than me. My sister's 6 years younger.
Mm.
I was responsible for watching them a lot because my parents were working a lot.
Hmm.
Just because work to provide for 3 children,
Right, exactly.
and So my brother and I, we both played hockey, and eventually, and I'm going to out my brother on this. I don't think this is something he openly admits to people very often, but eventually, because my sister was a dancer, we eventually got into it, and because we were at the dance studio anyway, like like she would be at our hockey practices, we would be at her dance rehearsals and classes, and like I always was of the opinion and always heard that like professional football players and hockey players take ballet classes and stuff to help their balance. I'm like, why not? Why
Yeah,
not? And
man.
it looks kind of fun anyway, right? I'm gonna be here, might as well take a class and up my skills in paint or in hockey, like because at that
Yeah.
time that's what I wanted to do. I was a kid. I wanted to be a professional hockey player. Like that's what I wanted to do. I got to play ice hockey.
You were
Um,
really active, man. Like you
my
didn't only
parents,
just yeah.
my parents did not let me sit still, and I wouldn't sit still, so that's probably why.
Hmm.
Um, like I was in gymnastics at age of 3. My mom also was a teacher at it because she was a cheerleader. She did tumbling and acrobatics a little bit, um, and so she was always able to get a job a lot of the places that she would have us do activities at. Um, so so we would be able to participate in those activities essentially.
Would you say your friend group is like a mix of different like people? Because you're doing a bunch of different things, so you must have met
Oh
a
yeah, I'm
bunch
in
of
tons
different
of
people.
circles. I
Yeah.
have a few. Yeah, I've got a lot of circles that I float from. And that's kind of how I've been. That's kind of how I learned to be, honestly.
Hmm.
Because growing up, like I said, I didn't make friends easily, but I kind of
Right.
learned how to make friends,
Hmm.
and so I'm able to float between social groups pretty well these days, if I say so myself. Um,
You're doing all right, man. You can't complain.
but um, yeah, so like I have like my paintball friend group, I have my high school friend group, I have my Twitch friend group now,
Hmm.
and so yeah, life is an interesting, an interesting journey.
I mean, to most people, you're still considered young. So, you
Yeah,
just,
I mean, when I say I'm old, I realize that I'm not old,
yeah.
but like I'm definitely not young anymore.
No, you definitely aren't. If I was your age, I would definitely consent with that. In your first year streaming, what was that like? Like when you just started up and you were just playing games first time online.
My first year streaming was really finding out what I wanted to do with my stream, like learning how I wanted to have my stream set up, and I'm still learning about that. Like I still like think about what do I want to do different? How do I want to present? How do I want to? What games do I want? What games do
Mm.
I want to focus on? Do I want to focus? Do I want to be like? Honestly, I never saw myself as a person playing the same game as long as I have been with Squad.
Hmm.
Um, like I always considered myself kind of an extreme variety streamer. Like
Hmm.
most people say variety, I say extreme variety because I was just playing anything I fucking wanted to, whenever I wanted to. It didn't matter. Um, and in my first year of streaming, I was trying to focus a little bit on what people wanted to see to a point, like what I could interact with people. Like I played Apex a lot.
Right.
I didn't care for PUBG or battle royales. Like I tried Fortnite, hated that game.
Yeah.
PUBG. No offense to anybody who loves PUBG, it always looked too jank for me. Like it just looked too jank. Like it didn't look polished enough for me to try it, and so I
Hmm.
never picked it up. But then Apex came out, and that looked, and like my initial impressions with Apex was, this is different. It plays like Call of Duty,
Right.
to a point where it's that polished. Like, because if I'm gonna play a shooter, I need it to be polished. I need to know
Hmm.
that when I do something, I feel like it's going to do that something. Or one big thing I hate in games, especially shooters, is when I'm looking through my scope and I pull the trigger, but it hits something in front of my scope that's not
Right.
actually in front of me, like,
Yeah.
phew, and then you see sparks because it hit the rail in front of you that's 2 feet down, and it's like,
It
Okay.
makes a really loud noise. Everybody knows who you are, and you're just like, well,
Right,
that was a
right,
waste of fucking time.
right, right. I
Jesus
lined that up for no reason.
And you probably sit there like a hot minute, just like, okay, just waiting for the steady aim. All right, steady aim's there,
Hmm.
and waste of time. All right, gotcha.
And and then the first year of streaming, I was playing like Apex. I focused on. I did this thing what I would call Star Wars Sundays, where I was always going to play a Star Wars game, and a lot of
Uh,
times it was going to be the same one. Like I played through the Knights of the Old Republic original. Um,
right.
and then I was going to play through two. I got a little bit through it, but I never finished.
What? Would
I
your?
also,
Sorry, go ahead.
and then I played like Jedi Academy that I never
Yeah.
played before. Because there's a lot of Star Wars games I've not actually played, like tons of. Never played Dark Forces or anything.
What about Republic Commando? Did you end up playing it? Yeah.
No, and I've tried to play that game a couple, and I don't know what stops me every time. Don't know, like I can't remember. I think it's the controls. I don't remember exactly. Like at this point, it's just old, and so it's hard to go back to. And I remember trying to play it when it first came out. I don't know why, because I was super hyped about the game. Like I thought it was so cool. I get to play as a Republic trooper. Like this will be
Yeah.
cool. It's not the stormtrooper I wanted to be, but it was close enough. And
I
so
mean,
like
you're a fucking sick ass ARC trooper. Like you're doing
I
your
mean, you're
thing.
still a stormtrooper, but you're a clone trooper stormtrooper, not a
Yeah.
storm.
Yeah, let me just warn you, if you end up picking it up again, it's just loud as shit, bro. So, like, you're gonna have to get on
I
and,
own
like,
it.
turn...
Like I have it on Steam.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
loud. Just be careful. What'd your family and friends think about you streaming?
They encourage it. They think it's really cool that I found something that I really, really, really enjoy doing, and are and able to make a little bit of an income while doing it.
Mm,
And it's because it's like video games has always been a passion of mine. Star Wars has always been a passion of mine. I mean, you
right.
should have seen me when Star Wars: The Old Republic was announced. That MMO, like this is back when I was in the World of Warcraft pretty heavy, and I
Mm,
was like, I literally jumped up and down for joy, like a kid on Christmas when I saw like the first trailer and saw the abilities that the Sith Inquisitor had, and like where I could just shoot lightning at people all the time, and like
yes.
I was literally jumping up and down in my friend's kitchen where we were watching the trailer for the first time, and I was like, "This is it, guys! This
Yeah.
is it!" Like, oh man, we were ready too. We had a guild of like 20 people to start. Like we had 20 people playing that game to start off. Our guild was called the Emperor's Children because we wanted to play on words with Warhammer 40K
Mhm.
and the Emperor's Children just made sense for the Emperor.
Dude, the cutscenes for Knights of the Old
Incredible.
Republic. What the fuck, dude? Like,
Incredible.
nothing like it. Like even to date, there is nothing like it for Star Wars. 'Cause it's just so fucking...
Let's hope that remake rumor is true.
I think it is true. I mean, I don't think they have many ideas running right now, or at least that EA. Well, EA's done making Star Wars games. Let's just be
Well, they're not
honest.
done making Star Wars games. Just lost so other people can make Star Wars games beside them.
No, well, they're gonna lose the rights in about 2 years, right? And then
It'll
it's
be up for contract, I'm sure, but I doubt
yeah,
they'll lose it. I doubt they'll lose it. At this. They've done well with Fallen Order. They did real well with Fallen. Like they did better on Battlefront. I mean, I think you and I would consider Squadrons a fun game. Um,
yeah.
and
I
that game did technically succeed on paper when it comes to financial reasons.
I
And
just yeah.
I don't see them losing. EA is too big. EA is too big to lose it completely. This, I don't losing it. They're too big and too powerful.
They're too big and too powerful.
I just think it's true though. I'm not wrong.
No, you're not. You're
I'm
not.
not wrong. Like they are the evil empire that is never going away, and
They are the Disney
they
of
they
video
are
games.
to a point, and not. And we say that, but without Disney, we wouldn't have all this new Star Wars stuff or this like resurgence of Star Wars stuff, whether good or bad or otherwise in some regard. But it is a way for Star Wars to continue. They reopened LucasArts, which is a big deal, because, and I think Disney is finally starting to understand Star Wars. I think they are.
Well, because they casted the right people for it.
Well, they and they thought they could do this thing with Star Wars, right? They thought they could do the Disney thing with Star Wars, and it turns out you can't do the Disney thing with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And what they were trying to do was with what they did with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They were trying to do that, do all these different side movies and all this and that and yada yada, because they already had the movies where all the characters were together, and they wanted to do all these side movies. And I was excited about it, some of them, but their execution on their sequel trilogy was not good. It was just not good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother story that we can get into. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's where we are. It's a mess, and I think they're running on a good high right now. I mean, have you seen Bad Batch?
No, and that's because I haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebel.
Okay, so
and I need to see those, and I've been waiting for my kid to get a start.
Right now, all I can say is they're running on good stuff. Like, it's a good like what their new content is.
Seems like Bad Batch has been well received.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And season 7 of Clone Wars, man, that shit. Rebels is a little iffy, but season 7 of the Clone Wars is
Rebels is also aimed at a younger demographic, but I hear it's still important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Important. There's not a lot of lore for the first part of it, and then you get into a little bit of lore, and then it's more about like this squad's adventures, right?
Right.
How like they tie into like the grand adventure of like the fall of the Empire or nothing, So even now, like having kids and having work, and then then you get on and like you play video games and you do your thing and everything. How's it with managing stress lately? Like how have you been?
I mean, honestly, gaming is my relax. When I get to play video games, that's a good time for me almost every time. Like, it doesn't matter what game I'm playing. As long as I enjoy it, I'm having a good time. Relaxing to me. So, gaming is my outlet. For me, gaming's escapism. For really. Real world sucks. Games are cool.
So you really just look forward to streaming and stuff during the day because it's just that your time.
I look forward to streaming during the day. I look forward to hanging out with my family and kids, right? But I do look forward to playing my video games and having my me time where nobody's demanding stuff of me or can demand stuff of me, and I get to relax. Now, I will say, I grew up where the houses met the cornfield, and I live in the county of St. Louis, and so it's a developed area. There's no cornfield. Well, there are.
You're not too far away.
They're not too far. Like, there's literally some in the county still, for whatever reason. Yeah. There's some in the county still, but I don't hear crows calling anymore. Like, I don't hear a crow. Like, they're not here. They're pigeons here. Crows. They're pigeons, not crows. Like, it's a whole different sound here. I don't get to see the night sky so much anymore. Like, that bothers me. And when I sit in the backyard, I don't hear crickets chirping and the occasional car. I hear cars constantly almost and sirens going off most nights. Most nights.
Yeah. Well,
it's not necessarily because of crime or anything. It's just, I live close to a highway, and it's a major highway. Yeah, so, they got to go get to an accident or something.
Well, at least you don't have to deal with light pollution as much,
Oh, no, light pollution's a real problem. I don't.
Oh, over there? Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
No. Yeah. Where I'm at, like, there is light pollution for sure. Like, I'm 20 minutes from downtown St. Louis, like
Oh, yeah.
in the county of St. Louis. So
Oh,
there's plenty of lights around me.
you just, oh, man. But, like,
I miss it.
what about during the day? Like, how's that like? Like, is it nice? Is it beautiful?
I mean, during the day is. I guess the neighbors directly behind me that are. Um, they like to shout at each other outside a lot.
Oh, God.
And like it's belligerent sometimes. And most of my neighbors are good. Like on my street, they're I've got they're all older than me. So they're quiet. And but behind me, their house literally butts up like five. And fortunately, my yard is a larger yard for the area that right now. But I was in my bathroom with the window open, shouting. It's like I'm leaning out my window, talking rather loud. I'm like, can you guys just shout at each other inside? Like,
Yeah.
like that's where I'm at with it. Like, it's like,
Go inside. I'm tired.
can you stop? Like, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, can we stop? Like, even the dad was like, Jesus Christ, guys. Like, and honestly, the dad's level-headed. Like, the dad is level-headed. It's the wife and the son that are the hot-headed two that don't get along. And yeah,
It's more motivation for you to have some stability within the household. It's like,
yeah. It's like it makes me really think about my kids in the future. It's like I don't want that to be my
yeah,
at all.
I don't want that here.
Like, and to a point, I'd almost like call the police on them. They straight up having people over at my house, like he has people over in parties sometimes when he definitely should not be doing so. Like I'll hear the mom open the window like, "Send these people home," like while they're sleeping. Like it's this like wow.
Oh my gosh! Like
Yeah.
you don't want to like even during the week. I used to be in a university city, so I got that. Like even during the week, it would be like super rackety and loud. And I mean, again, I
Right.
hate to say thank you to COVID because everything just started to become quiet, but like there's benefits.
I'm definitely a person who can stay at home for a long period of time, not be on. Like, if I need to be outside, I'll go outside for a second, and then I'm good.
You go outside, and then you go back inside.
Like that leads like that kind of has about the vaping thing. Like, I was smoking cigarettes and tried to quit cold turkey one time.
Mhm.
I did so for 6 months because I discovered I wasn't really looking for the cigarette. I was looking for the change of scenery. Go outside for 5. That didn't work out. You know.
What got you into like vaping and stuff?
I wanted to quit actual cigarettes. And to me, it just made more sense to use a liquid rather than a actual combustible carcinogen
Oh yeah,
type of,
absolutely.
like it just made more sense. I know it's not necessarily healthy, obviously.
Yeah.
I can tell you that my lungs definitely appreciate between the difference. Like, because I was playing paintball too, and then I was smoking cigarettes, and then I made the switch, and like I could tell the difference. Literally could. Still, my cardio is not the best.
You
Smoke, kids.
you said you stopped paintballing. That was like your physical activity. Are
Yeah.
you doing anything else?
No, unfortunately, at this point, not really. The gym we were going to use has become difficult to use because the reason we selected it is because it had a daycare. We could drop our kids off and go to the gym.
Mm.
But due to COVID, after a certain hour, they don't take any kids younger than 3. And so
Oh
my
wow.
daughter can only go during the morning. well, I work in the morning, so
Yeah.
it's like, well, okay. And then if I don't come home, my wife has literally been with the kids all day, and some other kids. A lot of this because she babysits
Oh
also
wow.
while watching our kids. So if I don't come home and relieve her, she
Yeah.
literally hasn't gotten a break. So it's like I gotta come home and take care of her and the kids for at least a little bit so I can breathe. Because
Absolutely.
like we love our kids, but they are draining when you're with, especially when you're with them, because you're the only person entertaining.
Yeah, well, they have your energy. I can guarantee you that's
They're
Do they do? What about the kids? So, do they like video games? Are they like
yeah,
into
my
this?
brother or my brother, my son plays Smash Brothers.
Hey,
He likes to play. He plays Sonic and Greninja and Aurora. Those are his favorite. He's getting into Link a little bit now.
okay, okay.
Um, I got him
Link OP.
Team Sonic Racing not that long ago, and he's getting the hang of that. He's gotten to play, uh, and it's a kids game, but it's a really difficult kids game, quite honest.
Can be sometimes. Yeah.
Well, have you played Team Sonic Racing? I don't imagine that's a
No, I
game that
mean
you're in
like
for sure.
I've played it once, but it's not my type of game. Like I was
Right.
into Mario Kart and then I played this game for like a brief second because my
Right,
friend
right.
showed
So
me.
it's like it's Sonic's version of Mario Kart, right?
Yeah, right.
Essentially, but instead of just one person, you have a team, and so there's this yellow line at the on your team when he's in front. It's kind of like the drag line,
Yep.
so you can use them to get ahead. And my son, he's so focused on that, like he's so focused on the drag line that he tries
Uh,
to turn into it. When he needs to turn the other way, sometimes and it'll hit the wall. And like, okay, you
right.
gotta focus on going forward more so than doing anything else. But he'll get that. But he
Mm.
can play Super Smash Brothers pretty much just fine. Uh, and he even discovered things that I didn't know about at one point. Isabel in that can put items in her pocket for your later use.
No. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. She can like pick up a health item, put it in her pocket for later, or Pokeball or whatever, and just use it later.
She got snacks, man.
She does. Funny.
She loading up. So, last thing about the stream is, what would you say? How would you describe the culture of your stream? Like the back to
Um,
back between
it's
people in the stream and you.
laid back. That's kind of what it is. Like, sometimes we get hyped. Sometimes like it's really whatever mood I'm in at that moment. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to keep it to being hyped all the time. I don't have the energy for it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't be putting out. We're doing this today, guys. We're doing blah 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 blah. I
Right.
cannot do that. I can't. It's just not me. It's not my personality. It could be if I was like doing it for a couple hours in the morning, and then I shut it off. But like I don't keep that type of energy all the time. And sometimes I do, and I get really excited and hyped up about it, and we'll get hyped up about stuff, and then we'll start to chill out and do other things later. Like that's kind of what I've been doing with my gaming lately. Is I'll play squadrons. That's kind of like my up game. Like I'm up, I'm active. Like it's my Call of Duty these days, essentially.
Right.
Um, and then when it's time for me to wind down, I'll switch over to something more relaxing, like Evil Genius 2, where I don't have to be so like I have to do this and that. I can hit the pause button. Hey, there's a thought.
Yeah. How about that?
And then if I just need to sit here for a second, talk it out, or not make like a hurried decision and click this thing over there and that thing over there and this thing over there real fast, I can just relax and play a game. That's kind of like I need that a lot. Like that's how I wind down before I go to bed.
Yeah, I noticed that you don't stay on one game. Well, sometimes there's days where you're just on squadrons all day, but then
Right.
yeah, there's times when you're playing something else, like
Hmm.
to wound down the day or something like
Right. Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. And so when you got into like squadrons and stuff, what I'm sure it was like, oh, this is a flight sim game, so like you're like super hyped about it, and it was Star Wars. But when you got into that competitive side of it, and you met like Splinter and everything, like when I met you, you told me about Splinter. I was
Hmm.
like, oh, he's already in a crew. Like holy shit! Like I just met him, and it's like no end of November.
Yeah, so I gotta blame Scout for that.
Fucking
He
Scout.
rated me, I think, like a couple weeks into the squadrons being a thing. And that's how I met him. Is he came
Hmm.
in with a big raid at one point? I forget exactly, but that was the initiation of the relationship. There is that he rated me, and I was like, okay, cool. This dude's about squadrons. That's awesome. And like, I want to get into squadrons, right? Like,
Right.
I want squadrons to be a thing. I want this game to be a thing. This is the game that I've wanted forever. Like, I never got in. I was never able to play the X-wing or Tie Fighter games.
Right.
So this is my X-wing and Tie Fighter game for all those like guys who talk about the good old days and stuff. This
Hmm.
is my good old days. Like, I didn't have that before. And so I wanted to be the best at it. I want to be good at this game. And like nobody had played this game before, brand new game. This is a perfect opportunity for me to get into it, right?
Right.
And so like I was actively looking for that competitive scene, and Scout said the same thing essentially. And so just did it off from there.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Squadrons is what it is, and like
Hmm.
you see like Scout playing Apex and stuff. So that's how
Well,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. You were gonna say something. I felt like you were ready to say it's still a viable game.
I mean, to a point, it could be. Um, Unfortunately, there's a lot of toxicity floating around about it outside of the competitive scene,
Hmm.
where people just shit on it because they think that people are just out here to hurt feelings. Like,
I Do you think that there's more going on behind the scenes than ever before? Like I feel like like maybe people are more doubting it just because of what's going on, like with the game just kind of
well,
slowing down and whatnot.
well, the game's gonna slow down. I mean, every game does that, right? Especially a
Hmm.
game that's not gonna be a live service.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
it's gonna slow down. But the thing about Squadrons is now it's on the EA Game Pass. It's probably not gonna come off the EA Game Pass. It's
Yeah.
going to be put on sale again. It's going to be
Yeah.
put on sale again and again and again. Like there will be new people playing it. There will be new people looking to wanting to learn how to play it. There are people who want to play it who can't.
Yeah.
Um, there are, and so sure, it's not going to be the most lucrative game. Is it going to be my main game forever? Probably not.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping for is a Squadrons 2.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for, and I'm really hoping for a Squadrons 2 with the Rogue Squadron movie, because I feel like that's just an opportunity that could really hit the mark. I think they could really nail it home, because a lot of my friends who are into this sort of game didn't play because they're not interested in the multi. They just
Mhm.
aren't. They don't care. They don't care. Yeah, they'll play it every once in a while, but after like a few times, they're done. They don't need to play it anymore. They don't care about it.
Right.
And there's not enough single player content or co-op content to keep people into the ecosystem of the game
Mhm.
and keep people interested. And I think that's a big thing. Like if people were interested in the co-op stuff and stuff like that, they would be more interested in watching the competitive stuff,
Mhm.
because that's how a lot of things are. Like mainstream sports are the same way. Um, Big esports are the same way. A lot of games with a large following has a way for the people who perform at an amateur or lower or just a hobbyist level. There's a way for them to do it.
Mhm.
In squadrons, there's not. You're either playing with the best of the best half the time, or you're not playing it at all because there's nothing else to do.
I think you brought up a good point though. Like, there's two different types of populations. There's people that play multiplayer like consistently, and then there's those who play single players like consistently, like co-op
And
and
there's
stuff.
people who play multiplayer just as a hobby. Like
Yeah.
they don't want to. Like like if I just wanted to come home, get on the sticks, and have a good time, I can't necessarily say I'm going to do that with Squadrons.
Right.
If I'm just a casual, like if I'm just a casual, you can't necessarily say you can do that. But with games like Call of Duty, Halo, and stuff like that, you can, just because there's so many, because there is a casual spot to play. That's the thing. There's a place to play casual. There, you can get put in a casual spot, and Squadrons doesn't have that.
Maybe Squadrons 2 will come out and change a lot of people's minds. And I think Squadrons 1 was, as with every Star Wars game with EA, is always a freaking experimental
Test.
game. It's a test. It's always a test because they never really, they have a layout, right? They have like an outlet of what they want, and then they put it in, and then they need to always fix something.
Right.
You know, it's
Well,
never always 100%.
they did that with Battlefront 1, and it was mostly a success because people duped themselves into wanting something. Well, and I say mostly, the only reason I think success is because they made it 2. And in my opinion, 2 was way better than 1. Way better than 1. The only thing that 2 had going bad for it was the PR, and honestly, a bad game design. To incentivize people paying money, because like spending 600 hours just to get one character is a bit ridiculous. Because that's how much like I remember, I forget exactly the number, but it was some ridiculous amount of hours that you would have. I think it was like 60 hours before you could unlock Darth if you weren't going to. And obviously that should be an uproar, right? Like if you're going to spend $60 on a video game and you want to unlock a character, you shouldn't have to spend 60 hours playing the game to just unlock.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes, but there's also like, if you're spending that much time, there's probably not a lot of content to fill that time. It's not consistent small reinforcement. It's like you're just like
Right.
this. You're always working for the big thing, and then
Well, you couldn't work for more than one thing because you had to focus on one thing if you ever wanted to get it.
yeah,
If you like, if you and he was worth, I forget the currencies. It was like 60,000 something for him, while others were like 40 or 20 or
yeah.
15 or 10.
There's
And
80,000 too. There's
right,
80,000,
and
yeah.
like, yeah, I like unlocking stuff. Cool. Like, let me earn those things. Yeah, I get that. Cool. But don't put it behind a 60-hour paywall after I already spent $60.
Mm-hmm. And then they made them free.
They
Yeah,
had, they had.
they made them free, and then they had what was it called? And then they added in the skins. So this is the most annoying part. They had you playing for Luke Skywalker skin, which is a farm boy skin, and then Darth Maul is the old master one, and you had to get 5,000 kills with that specific character. But
Oh
then
God.
they switched it. They switched it. So if you got like 1,000, 2,000, they switched the challenge. So you would restart back to 0 if you didn't get it, and then you would have to go 5,000 with
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
dark
Because
side heroes
okay,
or light side heroes. Yeah,
that's right. Because they stored a lot of the save data on locally.
yeah,
So if you deleted your save data, you lost all your progress. Um, on some things. Like I remember doing that when I reinstalled it one time. Like I was doing the single player challenges with like Darth Maul
hmm
and stuff like that, like the waves of enemies, just to do
right,
it because I wanted to do it.
right.
I enjoyed Battlefront 2 for the most part.
The scenarios were
Um,
great.
right, but the I went to reinstall it for whatever reason. I went back to start the challenges and they were all gone. I had to start all over, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I had made progress because I'm one of those people that will not move on to the next one until I 3-star it.
Right,
And
exactly.
like I'm not gonna move on until I 3-star it, otherwise I'm not gonna go back to it. Like
Right, exactly.
that's my problem. Yeah.
I 3-starred everything and haven't touched scenarios since. You will get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about the future before we let you go here. So in the next year, what are kind of like your aspirations of the stream? And then
Um,
yeah,
As for, just to keep growing, honestly. Squadrons was a big boon to my channel. I met a lot of really cool people that way. It was like I really took off when Squadrons came out. More so than I had in the 2 years that I had streaming, really. And that was really good because like in the first year or so of streaming, lurking was still a really big thing that I had done. That was like a thing. Like they, it like you could go in and have like 8 tabs open, and you would count as a viewer like as 8 different. Right. So lurking was a big deal with friends stuff. Like if you couldn't be there, you'd always throw a tab up. And then they cracked down on that a lot. And so you during that time you found a lot of people who weren't so into you, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And so you started to see people a lot less, and some people way less. And there there was a weird moment, like it was kind of an emotional roller coaster, you know, because like you were vibing with some of these people, you were really cool with some of these people, and then all of a sudden they're just not there anymore, or they just
Yeah.
don't show up anymore, or like it, and like whatever, people don't owe you anything, right?
Right.
But like you realize that I realized during that time that I've met a lot of people that were just there for my look, or just there for, you know, to get something out of me, right? And that's all that it really was. And so it was a lot of weirdness for a little bit, and then I started to find my own groove a little bit more and better, and like I found my own niche and like what I want to do. Like I really took off with the Star Wars theme. I that was my biggest problem, was coming up with how did I want to theme my stream, and how could I theme my stream with little resources to do it. So I had to figure out how to make a lot of my own media. All the video editing I do is done by me. Like most of my stream art that you see as my overlays is all me. Um, like the videos, that I've put out, I've done all that. Like I've learned how to graphic design in some real ways. To like you've seen the video that I play on my
Oh
channel.
yeah, no, absolutely. I saw it. You also have
Like,
that green screen that makes it so awesome
right,
when you put those
right.
videos up there.
Which is funny because I've been thinking about getting rid of the green screen. Like I've been thinking, like I want to go back to my room because like I really like having the red room. Like it was a vibe, dude. Being in here while the walls were red and everything. Like I felt like a Sith Lord. Like it
Dude,
was
as
just
long as
awesome.
I've known you, you've had that green screen. It would be
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, I used to see all sorts of stuff. Well, not all sorts of stuff. The reason why I switched from it is because I don't really have a way to display the things that I like to display well. Um, like part of the he was part of the official Star Wars club back in the day,
Hmm.
and he this,
Hey.
and so that's like a thing I like to play. It's still from back then, you know. I hope I've got a Master Chief helmet from Halo 3.
Ooh.
This guy,
Hey. Is that good shit?
Maker's Mark.
Oh, okay. Well, then it is good stuff. Good. Uh, is there anything coming up in your schedule that might change your stream schedule, or is it just kind of the same?
Nothing's really going to change my stream schedule because I stream when my kids go to sleep. Mm. But like there's this game I wanted to play that part of the game series that I've never played before, Tex Murphy, that I got to figure out how to work properly because it's an old game that's not even supported by Windows 10. Not working right. Figure that out.
What's the game called?
Tex Murphy Overseer.
Overseer. Okay.
Did you ever see those full motion video games that I was playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the next game in that series.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. You were telling me. Yeah.
it's and then I also want to play Red Dead Redemption. Like I really want to play through that game. That's a game I've been wanting to play through forever. But like I can't seem to find the time to play through that game because it's so damn long.
It's very long. Yeah.
Right, and like so like I want to stay competitive with Squadron for a long time. Like I don't plan on quitting squadrons anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like, and I think some people are of the mind of quitting squadrons probably after this coming event for at least a while.
Well, I mean, there's Eckhart's just kind of setting the ladder really high.
Well, I don't know about that. It's just he wanted to do something big with a big number.
Yeah.
To look at it. That was his whole like. That's what he wants. He wants to showcase the game above everything. That at least that's what he's said publicly that I've heard. Is that he just wants to showcase. He wants to show off Squadron.
I wish he did this like a couple months ago, man.
Yeah, well, he had to get the resources together, right?
Yeah.
It's not exactly easy to get $20,000 together.
No, it's
together.
No, it's not. It's still...
But you know, it could breathe life into it a little bit too. You never know.
Yeah, it could.
It'll be on YouTube, and YouTube videos are definitely things people click on.
Yeah, no, I asked him if he needed casters. He never got back to me, so
I'm sure he's got his bases covered. He's a networked guy at this point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to make sure if they're doing this, they're doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. We want it to be good, don't we? We all do. We love squadrons. We want things in squadrons to succeed. Like, regardless of how the tournament plays out, who wins, who loses, we want it to be a good event that people enjoy.
And again, like I hopped on squadrons yesterday with Lopez, and we just fucking cranked out for like an hour and a half before it was May the 4th. So we just said, "Hey, let's go play a little bit."
There were a lot of people sad I didn't play. So we were playing, but we were drilling the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Here in Splinter, where we were playing, like we fucking drilled for like 3 hours last.
Oh wow, really? The fuck?
Yeah, it was good. Good. Fracture's feeling good, buddy.
Yeah, I bet Fracture's feeling good. Y'all got like the ragtag team together and shit. Like y'all are good, man. They were doing all right in the last tournament. They beat us out, but again, can't say we had our best team on the field.
It was close from what I remember. Wasn't it like point margin?
Yeah, well, I ended up getting it to so everybody died, and like we were Empire, and I forgot that targeting was down, so if I actually went in, I could have killed that last bubble. There was a bubble on the ass on the bottom, and I saw it at the last minute. I shot a Goliath, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have to wait till my next Goliath.
You guys tied points, and you lost heads up. That's right.
Yeah, it was, again, Lopez or Zasser wasn't there, so we didn't really, it was just me doing everything, and then Medic was helping with the cap ship damage, but it was, it is what it is.
We got this weekend, buddy. Are you flying this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna have like Skull is kind of like it's not our full team anymore. Like Polly stopped playing. Doyd, I have no idea where he is. Gecko doesn't really like to play anymore. So
yeah, that happens, I guess. It sucks.
Somebody tell me where Geo is, because I have no idea where they've been. He dropped off the face of the planet.
So you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's weird being a Twitch streamer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you make friends with these people, and like they don't owe it to you to say I'm never coming back here, or I've got stuff I got to do, or.
Right.
But it's weird to just lose those friendships because you feel like you've been ghosted.
Yeah.
To a point, but you're not. That's not the motivation. But you still have that like. Damn, I missed that guy.
Yeah. No, I definitely missed them. I missed the whole Skull crew because we're very closed and all, and like everything. So, there's definitely times where I miss them. And even Deathwatch, when I was on Deathwatch, I miss a lot of the guys there too. So what are some things you might improve on your like mental health and stuff in the future?
Taking care of myself a little bit more as far as like wearing myself too thin.
Mm-hmm.
That long break that I took, March, was probably a result of me stretching myself a little too thin, and then having a big stressor happen, and that caused me to fall into, you need to just disconnect for a while. But like I was doing SCL and trying to keep Cal Cup stuff and this, that, and the other, all while trying to, be a dad, and it was just a lot, and then. My grandfather passed, and so
right.
I know, like, my grandfather passed shouldn't have affected me for as long as it did, unfortunately. But I was just so worn thin already. I wasn't in a place where I was ready for. Well, you're never ready for anything like that. But
Right,
like,
absolutely.
you know what I mean? You're just. I wasn't ready to be hit by anything. Like I was already in a bad spot, probably, and just not realizing.
And that's the thing about being a dad is like you have to be strong not only for yourself but like everybody, like your family and the other
Right, right.
family. You know.
There's a lot. Right, there's a lot of pressure to
How you been?
be
Yeah,
a
go
happy
ahead.
parent around your kids and stuff. Like, because you gotta be a happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important for them to see all the emotions from you, right? But
Hmm.
like, you want your kids to have happy parents because your emotions affect.
Do how you been though lately? Have you been
Good,
better?
good,
Yeah,
good.
that's good, man. And I noticed you've been playing the games you wanted to play. That like you said you were gonna do the
That
whole
was the other
Tetsuaki
thing is I was
series. Yeah.
just so into Squadrons too much. Like I was playing the same game too much. Um, as much as I love Squadrons, I wasn't like winding down ever for the night or anything like that. I was playing Squadrons till 1 in the morning, and like
Mm-hmm.
it was like and like I could tell you like you can talk to Maestro. It's like I gotta start setting a rule for myself that I'm not playing this game after midnight anymore because like I just don't play good anyway, and it's always losses. Like,
Right.
and so like it's not a fun time to end on a loss. It's not a fun
Mm-hmm.
time to end on a losing streak either. So like if I just stop playing the game at a certain time when I'm not tired and going to lose anymore, I'll
Mm-hmm.
just and not have as much fun. I'll just go play a game that I know I'm going to wind down and get off at a decent.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like you know your limits really well, and when it comes to that point where you're getting tired or fatigued, you just kind of you tell the chat like this is gonna happen. Like I'm just gonna transition over, you know,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
it's for the benefit of yourself rather than like just playing it because you think people are gonna like it, right?
right. Well, my philosophy is with this, it's like no games, right? No games forever unless you maybe you're Fortnite. Um, um,
Oh
but
God.
like I never want to build my stream around what game I'm playing necessarily. Like
Mm,
Squadrons is definitely up there because it's what I want to play right.
right.
But I've always wanted to build my stream around people being entertained by me, being
Mm,
there for me rather than just the game. Um, and that's kind of how I go about it while looking at a streamer. Like if I'm in a stream and I'm watching them play a game, it's like if I'm going to hang out with you, I want to hang out with you because I like you and not the game that you. Because if you're playing
right.
another game 6 months later, I'm not. I'm. It's not that I don't care about you. It's just like we don't have a connection. We were
Right.
just literally. It was literally we had a connection because we liked one game, and that was it. So there's no real relationship there. You just the game for a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about Star Wars is like Star Wars games. Like you meet people on the Star Wars game, but like it's like the whole community of Star Wars, like the whole
Right. It's the Star Wars fandom that brought you there in the first
right,
place. Most
right.
uh, yeah, everybody's already on the Star Wars is cool.
Yeah,
So
it's
you already
fucking
have
sick,
that to
man.
talk
Check it
about.
out.
Right. Right. Right.
So the last thing I have to ask is like if there's a new like if there's a kid just picking up games for the first time, uh, or if there's a streamer just picking up like Twitch for the first time, what kind of advice would you give them?
Um, have fun, do what you want to do, and make sure you support your supporters. Like, if like that's a big deal. Like, if you want to develop those relationships and you have somebody supporting you, and like you're not supposed like you're not obligated to support anybody regardless of what they, right? You're not. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're not at least actively going and looking at that person propping you up,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not looking to maybe prop them up if you feel so inclined to do so, you're losing out on an opportunity to to make a great friendship and even a professional relationship at that point.
Right.
Because while we are like streaming is a hobby for a lot of people, it's a hobby for me certainly, but I would like it to. I also look at it as a business. Like I definitely couldn't get away with streaming 5 days a week, 4 hours most of the time,
Right.
and not bring home any income from it, and my wife be okay with it. Like it just
Right.
wouldn't happen. Because she's like, well, you need to do this, please. And I'm like, well, okay, fine. But like, if I'm going to go hang out with people and, you know, there's an income coming in and I'm able to pay a couple bills because I got to pay out. And she's happy about it. And it's been really good.
That's good.
Just meeting new people. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know you if I didn't do this.
It's true. You wouldn't know me, so fuck
Right,
it.
right, exactly. We wouldn't
Yeah.
we wouldn't have like the cool community of squadrons. Like I wouldn't be a part of competitive squadrons if I wasn't. Like quite honestly, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't have been able to make the friendships that I have to get me in the door to work on becoming a pro squadron player at this point. Took third in SCL, right?
Yeah, you're that cool, man. I mean, those Twitch streamers are really the ones that keep the game sort of alive and
Yeah,
some
that
understanding.
and some YouTube videos, some YouTubers. I don't really hang out on YouTube. Like YouTube's never been my platform to hang out.
Me neither. Yeah.
And so like I'll go over there every once in a while, but like I just go there for videos. I don't go there for live stream ever, except for like Arted. But that's the reason. Scalp's over there playing Mario Kart or something.
Oh, dude! Eventually, he'll make his way there. Where can we find you, Innocent? Where are the social media networks that we can find you?
Twitch.tv/InocentDictator. It's spelled wrong though. INOCENT. Spell it if you haven't.
On purpose.
On purpose. On purpose. But that's because of Xbox. Twitter, Instagram, but mostly Twitter is where I talk. And then, you know, you can always join the Discord in the Innocent Empire. That's where I'd make a lot of my announcements. I don't like to flood Twitter with that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm not a big flooder either. I barely even use my Instagram. But
I like Instagram when I played paintball. Because
Yeah.
then I would get pictures of ball and stuff.
Oh well, yeah, you doing real life things like
Yeah.
let's take a fucking selfie. Let's go.
Well, it would be like I would also post pictures of me playing and stuff, like because I've got a photographer friend who takes pictures of paintball and stuff, and like he's a really good photographer. I got some ball.
Look at that. You have another guy.
Okay, he got paid, right? But like,
Okay.
he's still a guy now. Like, if he's out at the field and he snaps a picture of me, he'll send it my way, and I'll send him because like he got paid. Don't worry.
Okay. I'm sure they get paid, but it's that friend discount that we're all looking forward to.
Okay, it wasn't my friend discount, but we're now friends because he was friends with a friend. Like,
Listen. I'll have something that's worth your value that you'll give me a discount. Listen. Alright.
But if you want to see those, Instagram.
Instagram, but bad. Yeah, I actually haven't. Let me check out your Instagram. Let me stalk you. But yeah. So thank you again for coming on, like Innocent. Like,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When I asked you, like, I wanted to, there's not a lot of people that usually watch the interviews, but when they do, they get to learn a little bit about you and your journey, becoming what you become. And that is special because there's so much power in the few, which I always say. And I always, and it's also Mental Health Awareness Month, so, there's a lot that you've kind of talked about in your life that you've kind of gone through and that have that
I've
is
definitely
still,
been made aware of mental illness throughout my entire life.
Mhm. And it sounds like it's become more of your superpower and part of your strengths. You know, sometimes it can like distract you, and
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, yeah. You definitely realize when you're getting distracted from what you're supposed to be doing. Oh, I'm on Facebook. I need to be.
Oh, fuck, I have like a 30-page paper to do tomorrow. I should
Yikes! You
probably
better
get that
do
done.
that, brother.
No. Yeah, but like that's the thing, and again, like it makes you so powerful in the moment because when stress hits you, like you start to think about 30 ways to solve a problem, and
Right.
that's actually pretty cool because not a lot of people are thinking about those things. Um,
Oh, excuse
but
me. I'm yawning now.
no,
Jesus.
it's okay. I'm tired. I want to kind of eat, and I know you want to play some games because you have so much time before
I
you have to
do.
go to bed and take care of everything else. So thank you again for coming on
No problem,
board.
man.
I will have this on YouTube in the next couple of days, and
Cool.
yeah, man, I appreciate you. Um, have a good one. I will see you on Squadrons. We will fly and get that
Take it
going,
easy,
baby.
everybody. Peace out. Thanks, Poi.
Love you,
Thanks
buddy.
again, man.
Love you.
Love you
Love.
too. Peace.